So I signed up for online dating, and it's making things rise to the surface within me that I didn't really expect. I haven't really done anything yet on the site. I mean, I've set up my profile. I've been like obsessively editing it and things like that to project me well out onto the interwebs. But the thing I've felt the most as I've been looking through other people's profiles and stuff and writing my own is like every insecurity within me has bubbled to the surface really strongly, and I feel paralyzed and wondering if I should even continue, if I should even actually use the site the way it's supposed to be used and try to talk to people. Look, first let me make a disclaimer that I'm not making this video to get any of you viewers to like encourage me or anything. Like I appreciate it if you want to give an encouraging word, but that's not the point of this video. The point is more to just kind of let off some steam, and I also hope that by you seeing my struggles that you can feel better if you're going through the same thing. Because I know it makes me feel better to see someone else experiencing the same thing, because sometimes you get the feeling when you go onto a dating site that most everyone else has their life together and that you don't, and that you're experiencing these problems all alone. If anything, I hope that this video can help some of you who are having the same insecurities that I am to feel less alone in that, because you're not going to find a solution in this video. I'm sorry. I only have questions and observations. I don't have any answers. But when you begin to write a profile on a dating site, you are pitching yourself. You are writing your sales pitch for you as someone else's significant other. And that is when you start to realize, wow, I am not as interesting as I thought I was. I don't have as much going for me as I thought I did. Or when you start to list the good things about you, you have this feeling, this voice in the back of your head that's like, I'm really cherry picking things and misrepresenting myself. Because when I think of myself, it's not just a collection of my accomplishments, my likes and my dislikes, and, the 6 things I can't live without. Who I am is a many-layered thing, and it's not something that I feel can be adequately expressed in a profile. I mean, everyone struggles with this, but I think especially for someone who has a rich inner life and maybe spends more time in that inner life rather than in the outer world, you'll struggle, because these kind of profiles, they just naturally lend themselves to talking about the cool things you've done and your accomplishments and things like that, and your likes and dislikes. And I get it, because the initial stages of dating are based on shallow things like, oh, I like the way you look, and you also like Monopoly and horses. So I get it. But I've put a lot of pressure on myself as I've written my profile, and I think every time I edit it, I get a little better. The main thing I'm trying to do now is just to make a profile that's different. I don't really care about a sales pitch anymore. I'm just trying to put something out there that's unique, and maybe make someone laugh. And if it's not a good sales pitch, it's not a good sales pitch. Looking through all these other profiles of the single women in my area who match up with me based on these questionnaires or whatever, I feel super insecure. Like, I feel in some ways not worthy of going out with some of these people. That's a weird thing to say. That's really weird. I don't know. I just feel low value. That's how I feel. And I know, yeah, I have intrinsic value, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And when you read other people's profiles, you don't know the real them, all you know is the profile, and they've shown their highlights and presented themselves in the best possible way, and you're like, wow, this person is way above me. There's even a girl on there who viewed my profile and liked my profile, and we're a pretty high match, and she's, very attractive. And reading her profile, it's like, yeah, this person seems like a good match, but I'm like afraid to progress things just because I have this feeling like she likes this surface thing that I've created, and then in getting to know me, maybe she'll find out that I have all these things wrong with me or whatever. Because I know everything that's wrong with me very intimately, and sometimes I feel like those things are very close to the surface of getting to know me. If that makes sense. Like, I have X, Y, and Z wrong with me, and I might as well have it tattooed on my forehead, and you'll figure it out as soon as you meet me. Or you'll at least figure out that I'm hiding it somehow. I guess another thing that fuels the insecurity is when you're on these sites and everything is based on getting to know someone really quickly after just seeing a profile online, there's this sense of everyone being kind of expendable. It's like, okay, well, if it doesn't work out with this person, there's 100 other people who I match with. It makes you discount people faster for lesser things. And it makes you, for me, it makes me feel like I have to put a lot of pressure on myself to mitigate those bad things about me or hide them, and try to like hook a person in before they have the chance to cut me loose, before there's any kind of emotional bonding, because they can just go on to another guy who has the same good qualities but doesn't have the bad qualities. I don't beat myself up a lot. I like myself and think of myself as being a good person and definitely worthy of someone else's affection. However, I think about it from the context that of online dating, and think this other person doesn't have any kind of reason to invest more time than they need to beyond finding the first disqualifiers or whatever before they go to the next person. I guess it has to do with having so many choices makes you not want to make a decision. And so, if you live in a small town where there's only like 5 people you can choose from to marry, it's an easier decision than if you go on a dating site in a major metropolitan area and have dozens, if not hundreds, of people you could be compatible with, and so you can just go through them one right after the other. So yeah, that's what I'm going through right now, and I mean, I'm not really going through it. I haven't even started talking to anyone yet. Here, let me just read this girl's profile who liked my profile. I'm not going to read it word for word, but let me just tell you some of her highlights, and you'll see my trepidation here, okay? Okay, so I pulled up the computer here. Man, she's very cute. She's getting her master's degree, which, I have a master's degree, so I don't find that, like, intimidating or anything. But she's not from here. She's from somewhere else, so she's, living her life independently. I've lived here all my life. I've never really been adventurous or lived somewhere else. She's traveled all over the world. She's lived in Europe and Asia. She's basically been in every continent. I mean, she has some humor here because she says, at the end of all these places, she's like, I feel like I'm going overboard with all the places I'm listing. That's really it. Now that I read it out loud, I'm like, I don't know. She has run a marathon. That's something. But it's like I read all this, and for some reason it says to me, like, despite the things that I've accomplished, which, aren't that many, that she would be bored or that she deserves better than what I can offer just based on these shallow things, and that she would probably realize that pretty soon and say, you know, you're not adventurous enough, you're not as worldly. Sitting in my room and posting videos to YouTube isn't that adventurous. So, I have posted this on my profile though, that I have started vlogging. So, there we go. I'm not trying to like get down on myself or anything. I just wanted to go into the insecurities I'm feeling and why I'm feeling them, because I think it's unique to online dating. In person, it feels different. Online, it's like you're doing a job interview, and I get that same feeling, that same sinking feeling going through this site as I do like going through job search sites where I'm like, oh man, I'm not qualified to do anything. It can be depressing, is what I'm saying. I'm not here to be a negative Nancy or anything. I'm just letting this all out, being a little bit vulnerable for you out there on the tubes, because I think it's important to talk about these more negative things so that other people who feel the same way don't feel so alone. So at the very least, I hope that me complaining about my problems has made you feel a little bit more okay with your problems. So I'm gonna go equivocate a little more and think about whether I'm gonna send this girl a message or if I'm just gonna say, you know what, it's better to just leave that. It's better for me to just sign into this site and never talk to anyone, never interact with anyone. That'd be better. All right, well, it's been, you know, I've delayed a long time before posting another video, and I apologize. I want to try to post at least one a week. I'm using a slightly different camera setup here, so I'm not sure if this is better or worse than before. We'll see. I keep intending to take my camera out and get out of the room, and eventually this vlog will get out of the room. So stay tuned for those exciting developments, and tune in next time for more makeup tutorials.